Okay, so today we're going to talk about planting out the courgettes and the squash. Courgette plants and squash plants do look quite similar, so make sure you've read the label before you kind of plunge them in so they go in the right bed. Interestingly, cucumbers also look quite similar, so again, just kind of don't mix them up. So the courgette plants, just make sure they've got at least 2 big decent sized leaves, and the same with the squash plants. Again, not these first initial leaves, but the second true leaves before you start putting anything out. In the courgettes, we're going to put 22 plants in a bed. The squash, we're going to put 12 plants in a bed. First thing to do is just plan out your spacing. So we've used the water bottles, we'll talk about those in a minute, just to space out where we're going to be. So we've got 2 rows and we're going to stagger them. The second thing you're going to do is you're just going to dig out all the weeds. So a few weeds left in the bed, just get rid of them because they'll only come back and haunt us and give us a lot more weeding to do. Now courgettes and squash really like a good lot of feed. They're very hungry plants. So we're going to use some of our compost from Foodsmiles that we've made last year to fill in the hole to plant the plants into. So these are nicely covered up. When you finish with it, just cover it back up again so it doesn't dry out. So we're going to uncover it and we're just going to load a wheelbarrow. So you'll see this has got quite a bit of wood still in it. The really big woody chunks we'll just take out as you go and put them back into the compost and they'll go around the system again. The rest of it we'll just put in the barrow and we'll take it across to our bed. Okay, so what we're going to first do is prepare our holes. So we're going to dig a hole in the ground here, just pile the earth on the side there, and take a couple of spadefuls out. Then we're going to grab a couple of spadefuls of our compost, just to put into the bottom of that hole. So this will hold a lot of moisture in the soil and give them something to come onto. Then we're going to grab these bottles. These are what we're going to water into. So think about your position of the bottles so that make it easy for whoever comes to water. The easiest probably if you put the bottle in first before you put the earth back around it, and then just push the earth that you've dug out back over the top of this, and then we're going to plant into this in a minute. Okay, so having prepared your holes, put your bottles in. They'll look like something like this, and what we're then going to do, we're going to make a small hole in the middle of our thing. We're just going to put a little handful of compost in just to kind of get them underway till they get their roots down into that. We're going to take the plastic out, put the labels away, don't leave them lying on the bed. Gently tip the plant up, put it into your hole and just push the soil around it, and there we have it. What we're then going to do, we will water into these bottles because they don't like their leaves getting wet. So we'll water into the bottles, the water will go straight into the soil, down where their roots are, that's where they need it. And finally, having put them in, we're just going to give them a bit of a water. Now, first water, obviously there's not a lot of point putting it into the bottle because their roots aren't down there yet. So the first water we're going to do, we're just going to do very gently around the plant, 5-10 seconds just to kind of settle its roots in. But again, if you can, avoid wetting the leaves so that it kind of just keeps it, otherwise they start getting a white powdery mildew on them.